Why, hello there, ladies and germs. So, I'm absolutely floored. I'm absolutely floored. You all have managed to stay with us the entire day for the Comic Art and Literacy Expo. First off, I gotta tell y'all, pat yourselves on the back. This is not a sprint, this is a marathon, and you all made it to the last panel of the day. And this is the panel I am the most excited to share with you all. And the thing is, too, I have to give a special thank you to all of our special guests, from Sony to Molly Alice to Don Schmidt to Rin Hanami, and now we're getting ready to put the cherry on top for the Comic Art and Literacy Expo. We are going to be bringing you the creator, Daniel Chong, of We Bear Bears, and the voice behind Grizz, Eric Edelstein. I can't believe it. That show has ultimate cute vibes, and I'm really excited to bring these folks on. So before we do, never mind. I'm sorry. Before we do, let's cue that sweet We Bear Bears footage. Wow! Wasn't that great? And that was just about 20 seconds of greatness, but we're about to have another 45 minutes of awesomeness. I am happy to introduce actor, voice actor, all-around swell guy, Eric Edelstein, to come into the room.
Hi, everyone. We're so happy to be here.
And I'm also extremely excited to welcome to our Kale portal, Daniel Chong, creator of We Bear Bears.
Yay!
Yeah.
Hey guys, hi everybody.
So before we get started with the cues, I'm just going to let all of my friends that are in the chat, don't forget, ask a question for a chance to win our We Bear Bears prize bundle, as well as our other Cartoon Network prizes from Steven Universe and regular show, as well as a surprise bonus prize, one of them really cool Batman thingamajigs that I found in the attic at a place called home. It's not spoopy, but it is spoopy season. So first off, I have to start it off. How are you two doing during this whole lockdown, working from home situation?
Good. Oh, for me, the nice thing is that I work in an industry that we can kind of do at home. A lot of it is just drawing and writing. So I'm still able to create things, luckily. So I've been able to keep myself busy and work. So I think that's been helping me to manage this circumstance that we're in. But so, all things considered, it's okay. Doing all right. How about you, Eric?
Yeah, I mean, in animation, it's so magical because we're able to work from home. So like I was telling Bernice and Daniel earlier, I worked earlier today, and it's just kind of one of those adjustments. What was a coat closet 7 months ago is now a full broadcast quality recording studio. So I get to go in there and keep working and keep doing my art, which is a joy. The only slight problem is it's not ventilated, so they get a very sweaty bear after about 45 minutes. But hey, I'm thrilled to have that problem, and what a wild world where I work from this tiny little closet now. I barely fit in. There's like a seat in there, and it's like I get in my cockpit, and then I just get to keep giving voices.
Oh my God. No ventilation, no fan, nothing?
I have a fan I turn on, and if I forget, they can tell I'm sweating, and they're like, Eric, you want to open the door and crack the fan? I think they're worried I'm going to have a health issue.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And it's been a heat wave too. So it's like, oh my gosh, be careful.
Yeah, no, it's the greatest. I feel so lucky.
That's good. Sorry. Now I'm a bit dewy myself.
Hey, all the good ones are.
So now we're going to get to some really fun questions because, one, I'm cartoons are how I release my stress at the end of the day. You know, most people, they're just like, yeah, let's go for a walk, let's do yoga. I'm like, yeah, let's watch 16 hours of cartoons. So it's like I feel really pumped to ask both of you some questions. So we're going to start with Daniel. Now I know this is obviously a very Wikipedia question, but I want to hear straight from you. You know, so it's like,
No problem.
what is the origin of like Grizz, Panda, and Ice Bear? So in other words, not just the story, but just like, how did you come up with these guys? Where did the concept come from?
Yeah, it's random. It wasn't really planned. I was in a library just drawing and doodling. I was with my girlfriend's like niece who was like 7 years old, and I was just trying to make her laugh. And I was just drawing any weird thing that I thought she would laugh at. And as I was drawing, 3 bears immediately just came out. And it was just like that. They basically existed. She started laughing. The next drawing I did was I put them in a stack, just stacked right on top of each other. And right away, it just came out. So it was not planned. I didn't experiment with other animals. It was just always 3 bears, a polar bear, a grizzly bear, and a panda bear. And it was just doodling and having fun. And that's exactly how it came out. So
So from a doodle, it became a TV show. So I have to ask, because we have actually a lot of animation students here today, animation and animation students. So, you know, some of the questions that have been coming up in other panels was, what was the journey like to get, you know, your show on the air? Like, what was that like? Like, how? What? Huh?
So I didn't like just come out of nowhere and create it. I definitely had been working in the animation industry for a long time. So I spent the first 10 years of my career working at like Disney and Pixar, and I worked on movies like Bolt and Cars 2 and Inside Out as a story artist. And what a story artist does is storyboarding. So you get a script, and then basically what the story artist has to do is draw a lot. And you basically take the words and you transfer them into visuals, so you kind of see what the movie is going to kind of look like, but you basically just draw it out very simply. So I did that for about 10 years, and then I started kind of getting antsy, and I was thinking, wow, I really want to make my own thing. So that's when I took this little doodle that I'd created, which eventually became a comic that I just did for fun, and then I just kind of repackaged it into a TV show, and I showed it to Cartoon Network. They really liked it. And so it takes about 2 years, or maybe like a year and a half, before to make one episode, which is called a pilot. And basically that's you're getting all the foundational things together, including the voices. So Eric was part of that very early on. And this is like 2013. So it's very early on. And so we didn't air until 2015. So Eric and I go way back. so yeah, it's like so it's a process that takes some time to prove to the network that this is a show that I think kids will really like. And once they see that first episode and they go, okay, that looks like something we want to see, then they give you like 12 episodes and they're like, okay, do more and let's put it on TV and see how it does.
Oh my gosh. No, it's like, I was just listening to your resume. I'm like, oh my gosh, you worked on Cars? That's so cool.
Yeah.
It's such a weird movie, but it's like, for a while after I saw that movie, I was like, why do I keep picturing eyes on cars? I've been thinking staring at it too long.
You'll never imagine how hard it is to have cars act, because they have no arms. So I had to learn, how do you make a car like its wheels become the arms, but it's not really an arm? It was a very difficult thing to draw. So yeah.
See, and this is the perfect segue, because when you're like me and Eric, proper grammar. Eric and I go way back,
Yeah.
So this is perfect, because I had a question for Eric. So It's like, oh God, I have such a girly voice. So it's like, I have to ask, how did you become the voice of Grizz?
Oh, I auditioned, and I remember I got the audition, and I wanted it so badly. I felt like it was the part that I'd always just dreamed of playing. It was close to me, and the show had this giant beating heart. And so after a few auditions, I got the call that changed my life, that I got to be Grizz. But you get a few of these where you do these amazing pilots and you're like, this has to go, right? And then they don't go. And so it was just kind of waiting with bated breath, hoping that the people would get to see us and hear us. And then once it started airing, it was one of the greatest things ever. And to see the response from people, and so many people saw themselves in these bears, and Daniel kind of gave us this giant beating heart. And it was a miracle.
Oh my gosh. It's like, that's so, it's like, I love it. This is what I love. This is why I love being a part of the community of the arts, because it's all about collaboration and communication. And, it's like, Daniel, you did these drawings of these 3 bears, and you actually had to like think about what would they sound like, and the fact that it's like Eric was the perfect fit for that. And it's like, this kind of comes to my next question, because again, I consider myself like an amateur cartoon aficionado, so it's like, here's a fun compared to other cartoon bears, like Yogi or Winnie the Pooh or lots of Huckleberry, how did it come down to you using your actual voice versus like a character voice? Like what did you have a voice in mind for Grizz, or was the idea for you to just be natural?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I'm glad I rarely get to do interviews with Eric, so it's nice to be able to be with Eric while I get to answer this question. Yeah, we definitely wanted naturalistic voices. So when we do casting auditions, basically what we tell the agencies is we give them the script pages. It's like maybe 1 or 2 pages, and we basically say, we don't want anyone to be doing funny voices or pushed cartoony voices. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it was just the style of our show. We were like, we want people to just use their natural voices. We want them to talk like they normally talk, and we want it to just feel like somebody you know. And to me, like, that was what I wanted the tone of Bears to be. And so a story about Eric is when we, it goes, sometimes when you find somebody you really like, you usually kind of interview them a couple times or do a couple like chances to get to talk with them and audition with them. And I remember, Eric, I don't know if you remember this, you were traveling when we contacted you. Were you in France or something, I think?
I was in Paris. We left Jim Morrison's gravesite to come to my last audition. I remember I wanted it so badly. And
so we Eric was, he was just living his life, because, you never know how these things go. But we were like, Eric, we want to read something with you one more time, because we're making our final decisions. And I remember we finally got a hold of Eric. He ran to his hotel room or something to get on the phone. And I remember the first thing Eric said to me, because I'd never talked to him before. When a lot of people submit their auditions, they just submit it and I don't get to meet them. So this was my first chance talking to Eric one-on-one. And I remember Eric got on the phone and he was like, "Hey man, how you doing, brother?" And I remember when he said that, I was like, he's Grizz. He has the job already. He doesn't even know it. But like, all he had to say was hello and introduce himself. And I was like, that's Grizz. I can feel it. Like, you can feel the Grizz energy and the Grizz like kind of warmth and kind of friendliness that you want this older brother to have. Because in your mind, it's kind of, you to answer your question, it's like you kind of know what the voice is, but you don't really know until you hear it. And that's why you need someone like Eric to come in, and it's either right or it's not, and you don't know until you hear it. And when Eric got on the phone, he pretty much had it. We still made him do the audition, but he nailed it in his hello. So
yay!
That's kind of the magic of getting somebody, a voice actor or an actor that is correct, is that it just makes that character pop and brings them to life.
Oh my gosh, that was a brilliant answer. I was like, I love it, because it's like, because it made, what it made me think of, which made me write down this question. It makes me think of, oh my gosh, forgive me, I have like a thick notebook full of questions, but it made me think of the voice actor behind Baloo, Baloo the Bear, because he didn't do voices. He was just himself.
Yeah.
So I was just kind of like, I was like Baloo the Bear, Little John, not Little John, the East Side Boys, but Little John, like the big bear from Robin Hood movie. I was just like, oh yeah. I was like, Eric be doing that though. You just build that. keeping it real natural. You're keeping it natural.
Yeah.
Like, you do sound like somebody's buddy, and I really appreciate that. That's what made the show really cool. Because when I think about it, I wrote this down as kind of like a question, but also just funny. I mean, would you consider, like, this is for both of you, would you consider the Panda, Ice Bear, and Grizz as hipsters?
Well, the show takes place in San Francisco, and so I think there is definitely Bay Area vibes, that they deal with. So, yeah, I don't think they definitely are aware of the culture, and they definitely will try their hardest because they're always trying to fit in. I just don't think they're always pulling off everything. So I don't know.
Like,
I mean, I think they want to be, like in real life, I want to be accepted by hipsters. They don't quite accept me. I think my volume and my size kind of scares them, just like Grizz. And one time I made a joke about hipsters, and my buddy Jake looked at me. He's like, "You realize you got a beard, you're wearing a basketball jersey, and you're going to some band I've never heard of tonight? What do you think you are, brother?" All right, guilty as charged. I mean, if the shoe fits, rock it.
Yeah.
No, and it's funny now that, and I'm not saying, like, coincidentally, speaking of hipsters, no, it's just kind of like the vibe of the show is just like these bears, even though they really want to be friends with everybody, you can genuinely feel the friendship between everybody that was on the cast, because you were surrounded. I mean, when I found I didn't know Dimitri Martin this whole time was Ice Bear, because Dimitri Martin's voice sounds so different. And, it's like you had folks like Bobby Moynihan and Patton Oswalt and Charlene Yee and sometimes Jason Lee would pop in from time to time. What was that like? These are like some big names in comedy. Like, what was that like overall, just working with them?
Yeah, I can't believe it, honestly, when I look at our roster of voices. It's like, I remember it, whenever they were looking for ways to promote the show, in some ways, our cast already in its most basic form is pretty star-studded. So it's pretty incredible. And, I think we tended to veer on looking for stand-up comedians because they were already, maybe they weren't like actors, but they a lot of stand-up comedians have already interesting voices, and they have like comedic instincts, and that's perfect for cartoons because it's like all vocal performance in a lot of ways. So I think that we just fit really well, when we were going after a lot of those kind of talented people and performers. But yeah, we're just lucky. I can't say that we had a desire to have such a star-studded cast but it's just one of those things where you're casting the best you can to the kind of character you're writing. And it just turned out that everyone that we casted was just the most lovable and like genuine people like we could have ever hired. And all I can say is we're just very lucky. It all worked out.
What about you, Eric?
I mean, for me, because the cast is so star-studded and everybody's doing their own thing, we didn't really get to record together. So that's why I feel like my vocal performance, I give so much gratitude to Daniel, because he and Christy Reed would be there working with me. And especially with the movie, it was so emotional, and I could always get energy from Daniel. And we would be in there together, and I would be playing off him. And like, the movie's the most intense thing we've done. And like, there were times where I would like get in my car and be like, because it was that real. And I was just always so grateful that you guys can already tell Daniel has this giant beating heart, and he would give me so much to work with in the recording sessions. And then it was always so fun to meet people after we've recorded. And then I remember I still have not met Patton Oswalt, but I saw him coming out of a session once. Like, he had like a towel on him, and he was like, "Look, I have to get here at 3:30." And I'm like, I don't need to meet him. That's him. And it made me so happy. And it's just always just a joy. And then from this, the first time it was a Comic-Con when Bobby, Dimitri, and I hung out, it really felt like those bears in a cardboard box that finally got to meet.
You guys just gelled like immediately. Like it was almost like you guys had known each other for a long time. It was so cute to see it. Yeah.
And then we did San Francisco Sketch Fest 2 years ago, and Bobby and I just kept hanging out and walking around the streets of San Francisco. And there were definitely a couple people that came up and were like, and then one of them just kept staring like, of course we really hang out. We're bros. And then we're like, oh.
You're not disappointed.
Stack and be like, yeah, Bobby, get on my back, man.
Yeah. Oh, please. I mean, I have the easy job. I'm so glad about that.
Oh my God. And you know what? This is actually perfect. This segues into like the movie. You know, I just told you all before we went on, I just watched the movie, you know, and it's like that. Well, one, you know, like you said, you know, Daniel, you have such a, I can feel that you had a really huge heart when you were putting this together, because it's really all about empathy, you know, and it's like, you know, Eric, there was that part where it's like Grizz was crying a little bit and I'm like, oh no, it's like Bambi dying all over again, kind of like tears are starting to come, you know, I know We Bare Bears just ended last year, but you know, I got to ask, like, what was it like making the movie? That's such a much, like, I know, and I'm not trying to like dwindle a TV show, you know, but it's like that's a 20-minute segment compared to like what was this, an hour and 10 minutes? Like, what did that feel like? What was it like? How was the journey?
Yeah, I will say that, and I'm not saying this in the sense that we didn't think it was going to be hard. We knew it was going to be hard, but at the same time, we knew we could do it. And one of the reasons we felt that way immediately when they asked us to, when the network asked us to do it, is because I have worked on movies, and also my supervising director, Manny Hernandez, had also worked on movies. We both came from Pixar. So we knew what to expect. We knew like that the story would change a lot, you know, even after you start storyboarding it. We knew like, okay, I know we think we're gonna have the movie like early on, but we're not. It's gonna have to evolve. And sure enough, it happened. You know, we got a whole storyboard rough reel of it together, and we looked at it together and we were like, no, it's wrong. And we had to scrap half of it. So we were very prepared, I think, for the process. And that made it a little bit more easy to approach. But it's really hard. Like you said, you know, controlling an 11-minute story versus, you know, an hour plus is very different, because in an 11-minute episode, you could make a mistake and maybe the story doesn't quite make sense in certain parts, and you can be forgiven a lot because you're not asking for that much of people's time. But when you're asking someone to engage in something for an hour, you know, hour and a half or something like that, you really have to make sure everything makes sense and that everybody's entertained through all of it. Because if you lose them in a little bit, like they're out, like they're not interested. And it's a very precious thing that you have to manage. And so it took time, and it took about, you know, way longer than an 11-minute. I think we spent about 2.5 years on it. So it was a long time. Yeah.
Wow. Eric?
I mean, I think what makes me the absolute happiest is when people used to ask me my favorite episode, I'd be like, I love Burrito, I love Shush Ninjas, now my absolute favorite episode is the movie. And we got to say something in that movie that is so rare, and I feel like this movie has always been for the underdogs. And I don't mean to speak for anybody else working here, but it was maybe the people that were a difficult, hard fit in school. Like I always joke, you know, I got made fun of for being big and loud and didn't quite fit in, and I really empathize with Grizz with that. And I remember watching the movie with my wife and my good friend, and we were all just like this. And I was like, that's right, Daniel's a movie guy. Oh. And I knew, you know, yeah, no, we did. And my wife's a tough cookie. And and it got her. And I just feel like, you know, that We Bare Bears is for everybody, and we're there for you. And we're especially there for the people that are maybe not having the easiest time. And I think you see in this day and age, it was just another tribute to Daniel wanted to make a statement. And boy, did we get to do it. And it's just the greatest gift.
That's awesome.
And one of the things though that made saying a movie that had this kind of attitude and message is, again, it's like you just hope that you have a crew and a cast that has these same interests and sort of abilities and passions, and Eric and I, through the years of we've gotten to know each other, I know his heart too, and I know that these things matter to him, so it's not a huge leap for me to say, hey Eric, this is what our movie's about. He knows exactly what we need to accomplish in this movie. So again, it's just a luck thing where the people we happen to work with and hire, they all had the same mindset of like what we are going to do, and it helps a lot in the making of it.
Oh my gosh. I really did love the movie. And it's like, it makes 500% more sense now that the reason why I was getting teary-eyed, the chemical compound to make people cry because you used to work at Pixar. It's like, hey, guess what? Get them tissues, prepare to cry. You're like every Pixar movie ever, but that's so this is the funny part. So I have a funny question for you. So and Eric, this one's probably specifically for you. Now the thing is, I don't know enough about your resume to know if you've been in musicals before, but what was it like singing in the We Bare Bears movie?
Oh man, Eric loves this question. I already know it. Eric loves
dream. Give me a band. Hollywood, let me sing more. No, I'm a music guy. I mean, like every actor, I'd rather be in a band as much as I love this. And then We Bare Bears started to feel like a band. But I spend my free time going to concerts. I have since I was a kid. And to get to sing in We Bare Bears is a dream. And I just have to admit it. When the soundtrack for the movie came out, I was driving around blasting the Bears. And I could not believe it. And my name was on the app. And I'm like, just driving around playing my record. Don't pull me over. Like, I still can't believe that I get to do it. And it's one of those many magical moments in this life where I just like, I'm going to wake up and this is a dream. That my job today is getting to come in and sing, especially the Canada song, because I've got some really, really great Canadian friends. And it was very easy to imagine just running to my beautiful Canadian friends and staying with them. And every one of the songs we ever did with the Bears was a gift. And when you look at the other, like my favorite songs in the whole series, though, are the ones that Charlene Yee does.
Oh,
because
yeah.
You talk about heart. And I've been friends with Charlene for such a long time. And I love her so much. And Charlene has this incredible heart and a voice that just communicates. And her songs in We Bare Bears and our relationship with Chloe is one of those things that has meant the world to me with this show.
Yeah, and that's kind of cute. It's like I love the relationship with the Bears and Chloe. It's like, it's like Grizz has just said like, yo, Pan and Ice Bear, you're my brothers, and it's like even they're like, Chloe, you're like our sister. We love you, and I'm just like. Yeah. That's so sweet. Like I'm a big mushball. I know my members are probably watching this and saying, "What are you talking about, Miss? You're not a mushball. You're hard." Like stuff like that. It always just makes me want to squeeze a teddy bear and be like, "This is so pure and sweet." I feel like a 4-year-old. It's nice. I love that like brotherly love feeling you bring to the show. So now I just got some silly questions. So this is just up in the air weird stuff because sometimes I had a half headache last night where I had to close one eye and just write notes. But one of my and it's goofy. So the Bears, they have money, right? They have money for some reason. How do they afford to live in the Bay Area, let alone go to food trucks?
Yes, this is a good question. So I will just say that the nice thing about working in animation is that you can get away with a lot of things. And I mean, some people do ask questions, but you also go along with things. So bears walking around the city, but nobody's really freaking out. Sure. I mean, maybe I'm curious, but I'll go with it. And, bears, they have money. Sometimes they don't. And who knows, they don't have full-time jobs. Sure. Maybe I'll go along with it. I think that is kind of the power of animation. So, even though people may be asking that question, as you are, I think generally it's something we're able to get away with and not really have the answer to it. Another thing that we are able to cheat because it's animation is, I remember Panda has his cell phone, and we were always wondering, because we didn't want him to hold the cell phone all the time. We're like, where does he put it? And so we came up with this idea that he just puts it behind his back and it's gone. It's just a magic trick. And I know if I tell it to you now, you're probably going to be like, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense. But, when you're watching a cartoon, you kind of just don't ask. So I would say that that's kind of what's special about working animation is you don't have to be logical about everything.
So that means Panda is a marsupial because he's got a butt pouch.
Yeah, well, it's something. There's something back there. That I don't know where it is.
Or he's wearing leggings, or like what's the Panda equivalent to leggings? Oh my gosh. So I'm getting to the end of my own questions, and pretty soon we're going to open it up to our audience's questions because they are asking a lot of really good stuff. I don't know if you can see it, but
I've been seeing them. They're great.
Yeah. So now that womp womp, We Bare Bears is over, and it will live on forever in reruns and YouTube videos, But the big question is, what are y'all doing now? What's next? What's going on? What's after We Bare Bears? What's happening?
Well, the good thing is that We Bare Bears, even though it's ended, it's going to be continuing with the spinoff. So there's going to be a Baby Bears show coming out next year. And I'm an executive producer on it, but I'm no longer show running it. So what happened is, as I've been working on Bears for, we've been working on it for like 6 years, I was able to work with a lot of really talented people. And now that, I've decided to leave, I'm able to give the show over to them. And now they get to be the leaders and they get to express what's on their hearts and make it into a new TV show. But with still our 3 favorite characters, but they're babies this time. So that is what's happening, at least with the show. For me, I've moved on to a different project, which I can't talk about too much, but it's a really big project and it's going to take a long time to make. But I have just started it maybe like a year ago. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm up to.
What about you, Eric? What are you up to?
Well, the first thing I want to say, and because this will be on YouTube, and I have run into some kids and stuff that are sad about the show. And I've not talked with Daniel. I've not talked to anybody else, but I'll just say this. My favorite show when I was 12 years old was called Twin Peaks. And then 4 years ago, I got to be on it.
No way, really?
No show goes away anymore. So you just never know. So again, nobody said a thing, but I really hope when I'm 65 years old, I'm Grizz in a wheelchair and we're doing another movie. So that is my plan. No one else has said anything, but I don't think any shows ever go away. They just take breaks. And you're going to love Manny Hernandez, and you're going to love what they do with this new show. And you're going to love the Baby Bears. So to me, no show ever goes away. As you can tell, I'm always going to be Grizz, and we're always going to be here for you. And I'm so happy we left the show how we did. Because to me, it was, to use a basketball analogy, Daniel Chung was Michael Jordan pushing off Brian Russell and nailing it. The kids out there that are maybe sad, no show goes away. Look at every single show now comes back. So if I were in Reno today, I would bet another We Bare Bears movie. I'm doing another show right now that's not announced yet, but I cannot also can't say what it is, but I think you'll be very happy. And also it's very close to being me again. And then I'll say this, it hasn't been announced, but it's just, I'm so darn grateful to Daniel and the show. I just did, I do a lot of in front of the camera stuff too. And I've never, ever in my life gotten to be the guy. I'm usually the friend of the guy or the guy trying to kill the guy. I've died in a lot of stuff. My mom, so I just got back from Atlanta where I got to shoot an episode of Creep Show where and I only got this. It's my favorite part I've ever gotten to play, and the director only hired me because he loves We Bare Bears.
Oh,
and so when I first met with him, the producers had another idea. Another actor who's very good and has done more than me, and he's like, "I just want Grizz. When I read this, I just want Grizz." And I'm like, buddy, I can do that. So you'll see Creep Show, and it was so funny. My mom, nobody thinks about the mother of somebody that dies in every movie. My mom has had to watch her son die over and over. So she's like, so how do you die in this? I'm like, Mom, I don't die. She's like, oh, okay, so you're like an evil plumber? I'm like, Mom, I'm not evil. I'm Grizz. So you will see the show on Shudder and AMC, and you'll just see that, as you can tell, I'm kind of Grizz in real life, so I'm thrilled to be able to play those parts now, and it's only because of We Bare Bears, and I don't know if I have to give Daniel a cut of the money I just got. But no, that's why, I get to be Grizz just in person sometimes now, and that's the biggest gift.
That's awesome. And you know what? I'm not gonna lie. The other day I was just bored. I rewatched Jurassic World, and I didn't know. I was like, wait, is that Eric? And you just get eaten. I was like, oh shoot, he's so nice. How?
Friend, talk to my poor mother, my poor wife. I die in everything, and I die all the time, and I'm great with it. I can't believe it all worked out.
But you know what? Funny enough, now that you bring that up, you're like, no one ever thinks of the families of people that get eaten or die in movies. That's me. It's like I see buildings fall over in Superman. I'm like, there were 600 people in that. Who's gonna?
Very true.
Well, thank you for answering all of my goofy questions, because like I said, I'm a goofball. I love cartoons, like talking to you guys is just like talking to old friends. So, thank you for the privilege. Now we're going to open it up to our friends and our fans. And we have a lot of really good questions, and I'm just scrolling through. Now, Daniel, this one's going to come as a little bit as a surprise to you, but this one is from one of my staffers. This is from Jacoby Kosum. It says, hello, fellow Cal Archian Daniel. How did your training in college help you find your voice in animation?
The reason why that's a great question is because I think the idea of a voice is really important. And there are you could actually kind of go through your career in some ways in animation, not quite have a voice. If voice is something that is unique, and I think it really is what enables you to create your own thing. So that's why I really like that question. And it took me some time. I think that a lot of understanding your voice comes from experience and making your own films and just trial and error, but also a lot of self-exploration. So on top of doing the work and just experimenting and making a lot of films and learning to draw and doing it a lot, figuring out what you like, you have to kind of look inside of yourself and realize and kind of understand who you are. You have to understand what makes you unique, what makes your experiences unique, what makes kind of the reasons you do certain things, like what are your motivations in life, who do you love, who do you care about, even something as goofy as what are the movies that made you who you are, like what are the really or horrible movies that you grew up watching that you just can't stop watching and they kind of imprinted on you. Knowing all those things and then having those things start kind of seeping into your actual work, that is how you find your voice. And unfortunately, a lot of that stuff takes time. It takes time to be reflective. It takes a little bit of maturity, I think, to eventually get that. Some people get it when they're young, but for me, it took some time. And, I didn't get bears until I was like in my mid 30s, and a lot of my friends had gotten TV shows when they were in their 20s. So I always felt like I was behind. But now that I see what was required of me to make a show in 140 episodes in a movie, I realized it took a lot of experience, a lot of time and training, and also a lot of reflection about who I am. So that is, to me, the answer of how do you find your voice.
Nice. Eric, you want to try and tap that one too? I mean, literally, a voice.
Yeah, I mean, I think that what Daniel says is so true, where there's another world where I thought I'd move down to LA at 23 and make it. And now I'm so grateful where, like Daniel, I hit my stride in my mid 30s, because every day that you live up until then and all the highs and lows makes you a better actor. And when I look at my earlier acting, I hadn't found my voice yet. And so much of it, I feel like I'm a much better actor now because of We Bare Bears, because I'm comfortable just being myself. So to everybody out there, find your voice. And when I guest speak at like animation voiceover classes and stuff, what I always tell them is, from having worked with them, If you're trying to do other people's voices or accents, oh my gosh, they have ringers that can do that. I can't keep up with Jeff Bennett or Kevin Michael Richardson or Gray Delisle or Jeff Bennett. All I can do is my best voice, that's me, or characters of friends I know or my characters. So I'm on two other shows now where I'm doing impressions of friends. So I get to go in and work and do characters that I built up over the years, and they're just unique to you. So nobody can do a better you than you. So if you can tell from watching this now that Grizz is very close to me, let that just be an inspiration for you that your voice is so special. And find your voice, get it perfect, because nobody can do a better you than you, friends.
Oh my gosh, you guys, when are you writing a book? You guys give good advice.
We're ready. Give us offers. We're a package deal.
Anywho, so I have a question from America Munoz, which is, what is the hardest part of your job? And this one's for both of you.
For making a TV show, it's the writing. It's always the writing. And every movie I've ever worked on, and now a TV show, it's always the writing that causes the most problems. It's the thing that people struggle with. And it's also the thing that will, in some ways, a lot of times make or break your thing very early on if you don't get it right. You can save it with like great acting or great actors or like really pretty artwork. But if you're not writing characters that people care about, if you're not putting in situations that are compelling, it doesn't matter. You know, in a lot of ways, it's going to be a failure if you don't get it right. So for us, like making sure the writing was like the best it could be, and being willing to redo things over and over again, even if it's hard, was just something that we would not let, we knew we had to do in order to make sure Bears was really good. So that was probably the hardest thing.
The hardest part of voice, it's never, I'll be honest, I don't think I've ever had a difficult day now with voice acting. It's a joy. And it's sometimes hard because I know that technically I have the easiest job out of anybody that worked on We Bare Bears. There were so many people working such long hours. And like the funny thing with the pandemic is my wife realized how short these sessions are. Like I used to go do We Bare Bears, and by the end, Daniel and I just shared a heart, shared a brain, shared a voice. There was this amazing shorthand. I was out there, sometimes I was done in an hour. And now I'll go in my little homemade booth in the closet, and Jess will be like, it takes you that short? You used to leave for like 4 hours. Oh, you know, I'd get a sandwich and drive around. And the absolute hardest part for me is when you hit those slumps and when you get bad news and you're worried you're not ever going to work again. And, you know, that's really, really hard to deal with, especially with you know, responsibilities. And it's really hard to sometimes keep a positive attitude, but it's the most important thing you have to do is just really believe in yourself and believe that good things are going to happen. Because boy, you hit a slump, you feel like, oh boy, this is rough. But you really just have to have belief, and you kind of have to be like I always say, it's like a relief pitcher in baseball. You can't get too excited about when you come in and strike out the side, and you can't get too down if you give up 2 home runs. You just have to stay level and consistent, because from my period working as a character actor, you do see some people get a little too excited with themselves, and that isn't a road I would go down, because there's always for every peak there's a valley, and it's how you weather the valleys.
That's all. So I have 2 questions left, and I know I'm probably going to go a little over our end time, but there's one question from Eva Terradoro, who said, why doesn't Ice Bear want to talk a lot?
Well, I don't know. That was just kind of the personality that we had set up. I think the way that I had sort of justified it was that we have the 3 brothers, and it's a brothers dynamic. So Grizzly is your older brother. He's going to talk the most. He's at the top of the stack. He's the one leading everybody. He's the one that is like, got to pump everyone up. He's the one telling everyone, we're going to do this today, even if it's a good idea or bad idea. So we knew Grizz was going to talk the most. Panda is sort of like the middle child. So he's maybe more of a rebel and a little bit more introverted and a little bit into things that nobody else is into. And that's it. So, you know, he probably talks a lot. He maybe like pushes back on Grizz quite a bit. But his role was sort of middle child. Ice Bear is like the youngest child. And sometimes what happens with like the youngest sibling when you got a dynamic with already two pretty vocal brothers is you have a character who's probably not going to speak as much, be a little bit more kind of, you know, not really acknowledged that much either. And that's kind of what the Bears do. Not that they don't like, they're mean to him, but it's just that they just have these boisterous personalities that the youngest can't match. So I think to me, that was the reason why Ice Bear was going to be a character that kind of was strange and didn't really say much. And I think it works well because then you don't have everyone talking at the same time. You kind of have a nice balance in that way.
That's nice. That does explain a lot because I guess you nicknamed him Baby Bro in the show, right?
Yeah, we didn't want other people saying the word Ice Bear because Ice Bear speaks in third person and was constantly saying his own name. So as a rule that I think more or less we stuck to was that even Grizz and Panda, they know his name probably, but they never say it. So Ice Bear is the only one that says his own name.
As long as he's not like Lord Voldemort. So I have another question from Mari Perez, and this was actually really sweet, and I can actually tell the answer already is, are you guys close friends?
He's stuck with me.
It's a beautiful. I was very sad. Obviously, our last recording, I was just like, I want to work with Eric again, but like the project I'm working on is going to take a very long time, and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to see these guys again, but. You know, I feel like I've seen you, Eric, now like quite a bit since we've ended, just like doing like events and stuff like that, or just texting you, man. So, yeah, I think we're friends now.
I cannot wait until we get to go to a basketball game together. That's where, when all this is over, he and I are both basketball junkies. It was a big part of our friendship, and talking basketball back and forth. So, cannot wait for that.
Yeah.
But you get your team.
I'm a Blazer fan, and so when this man got Dame Lillard, boy, that was a glorious day in the cave, and I still can't believe it. Still can't believe it.
Oh my gosh. Well, you know, you two are an absolute delight. I have abs now from all the giggling, you know. I have to tell you two, thank you so much for being your genuine selves, coming to our comic art, our little community, where even though we're like streaming worldwide, but I mean, thank you for being. You are a part of a place called home now. You know, it's like you're like, we always like to say, we have a place called home family. You're part of a place called home's family, and you guys are always welcome to come when the world opens up again. You know, our arms are open to you. We would love it if you guys are able to come down and visit us one day. We are really cute, so you know, and our members are awesome. Like a lot of them are shooting comments on the side. Like I'm getting a lot of them are saying best day ever. You know, thank you guys are so cool. Love the show. I mean, I wish I had more time to give you more accolades from our members, but a lot of them are like, I love the ideas. So, oh my God, that's literally a response. Baby bears, they're really excited. So thank you for bringing so much love and energy to our expo. And this isn't goodbye, but it's like, see you next time.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having us. We would love, I would love, and I'm sure we would love to see you guys again soon.
Yeah. I'm in, Brooke. It's legally binding. The second we're back to even sort of normal, I cannot wait to come down in person. And I love this stuff, and I'm so grateful. And everybody donate. A place called home. And then I just want to tell everyone here, Bernice and everyone else, you are now in our home, which is a cave. So you're all officially part of the Bear Cave.
Yeah.
So a place called home and the cave came together, and now we're all stuck together.
And before I send you nice gentlemen off to go have dinner or snack, I have one message from someone named Mackenzie Freeman. They just wanted to say, I love you, Grizz.
Well, you see now the Grizz is both of us, and we love you very much, and it's always just to be continued. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, Jen. See you soon.
Love
All
you
right.
guys. Bye.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. We really, 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 really genuinely hope you enjoyed the Comic Art and Literacy Expo today. Guys, give yourselves a pat on the back. You really stuck it out. You stayed with us. I'm sitting here sweating in my seat, but guess what? You know, we're almost to the end. I'm so happy you all stuck it out. This was a really great expo, and it couldn't have been better without your ongoing support. You know, if you are a member of the APCH community, if you are a supporter of a place called home, if you are a friend of a place called home, we appreciate all of your love and support. And to the members out there, I'm looking at you. We genuinely miss you, and we can't wait until we can open our doors when we are all safe and healthy to have you again. So that being said, before I give all of my thank yous and accolades and send you all on your way, we are going to have our last raffle of the day. I hope nobody got up to go to the bathroom, because we're about to finish this off with the raffle. That's right, raffle. So I have, I'm gritting my teeth. So a lot of you, thank you. By the way, everyone, thank you for asking a lot of questions. I gotta make sure I get everybody who asked a question into the chat, into the drawing. So I apologize if I misspell somebody's, because some of you guys have really long screen names. So I'll just put that there. Cool. So at the end of the event, make sure you guys email A Place Called Home at bridgetheater@apch.org to claim your prize. So let's start with our first prize of the afternoon. So we just concluded our We Bear Bears panel with Eric Edelstein and Daniel Chong. And right now I have a little Grizz plush. He actually, I know it's hard to see, but he actually stands up. So you can have it sitting on your desk at home. And this prize also includes some We Bear Bears socks. You have Panda on one side, you have Ice Bear on the other, and on the inside, you have Grizz. And the other prize is 100 We Bear Bear stickers. So I hope you all, I'm just making one last check to make sure everybody entered a question. I'm trying to make it fair for everybody, so I'm trying not to miss any names. So the other prizes that we're offering, our next prize is going to be a Steven Universe prize pack. This is actually going to come with a cheeseburger backpack, but unfortunately the backpack did not arrive on time. Sorry, y'all. But if you win the Steven Universe prize pack, it will come with a cheeseburger backpack, the Art of Steven Universe, the movie, and a Steven Universe graphic novel. And we have a regular show, the Art of Regular Show. This is all the production art from the cartoon. And last but not least, because I don't want Batman to go back into the attic, we have one more Batman vinyl toy, okay? So this is 1, 2, 3, 4 chances to win prizes, guys. So let's get ready to roll. So I have everyone's name. Let's see. I'm just making sure one last time. I don't want to leave anyone out. I know I left some folks out in the very first one, and I apologize, but I'm making sure you guys have a chance to win this one. All right. I'm going to share my screen. Here we go. I'm going to put up the wheel of awesome. Share. Okay. For our first raffle prize, the We Bear Bear prize pack. Here we go. Cross those fingers and toes. Here we goes. Click. All right, let's see who's gonna win. Who's gonna win? Who's gonna win? Ooh! Oh! Jocelyn Ronquillo, congratulations! You won the We Bear Bears prize pack. Please email A Place Called Home to make sure that you collect your prize. Okay, time for the next one. I hope you guys are all ready. Fingers crossed. The next one is going to be the Steven Universe prize pack. That means Steven Universe, the Art of the Movie, Steven Universe graphic novel, and a cheeseburger backpack when it shows up. Fingers crossed. Here we go. Who's going to win that cheeseburger backpack full of Steven Universe goodies? It's going to be... Oh, I can't believe it. Drizzo! Oh my gosh. Drizzo, please make sure you email Bridge Theater at a place called home. Congratulations on winning the Steven Universe prize pack. Okay, we got 2 more prizes to go, y'all. Here we go. Fingers crossed, toes crossed. Here we go. This one is for the art of the regular show. All right. Here we go. Oh, sorry. Liz Hernandez, let me make sure that you are put in. You did ask a question. I am so sorry. Okay. I got you. I got you, Liz. So there you are. Okay, Liz. So we got you this time. Thank you for writing your name in the chat. Gotcha. And yes, such a mom, we have you too. I think I have you. No, I don't. I apologize, and I'm going to make sure your name is entered as well. Thanks, everyone. So let me see. Such a mom. I think I entered you the last drawing, and I didn't put you in here. So, all right.
You have such a mom on there twice.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, you have her in there twice.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was like not being able to see well. Okay, guys. All right, here we go. David, you too? David, I thought I put you in there. You guys are throwing me off. Oh, I put your brother. I'm sorry. David Cervantes. Even though it's the same house, but okay. All right, guys, here we go. Cross those fingers and toes, because here we go. Dagnabbit. Whoa, Liz Hernandez. I can't believe it. Look at that. You win the Art of Regular show. Thank you, Liz Hernandez, for participating. We have our last prize of the afternoon, and it is our very last Batman figure, as I mentioned before. So, you guys ready for this? This is the last one. This one is, quite frankly, the biggest chinned Batman I've ever seen, and is really fun. All right, guys, so here we go. Cross those fingers and toes. Here we go. What's close? Victoria G! Victoria G! Congratulations! You won the last Batman toy of the day. So, everyone, sorry, hold on. That is the Comic Art and Literacy Expo. Thank you all so much for being a part of our 4th annual Comic Art and Literacy Expo. Before I leave, I have a lot of people we need to thank for everything that was provided for us. You know, I want to give shout outs to all of our incredible donors who made today possible. If you are a member, you got a free bag full of books and goodies. So we want to thank the Ella Fitzgerald Foundation, the Karen Sperling of Invitational Books, Warner Brothers Entertainment, Rogers and Corwin, Food Forward, MedShare, and last but certainly not least, Sony Picture Studios. Thank you so much, Sony Picture Studios, for being a big supporter this year. Thank you so much for giving us resources and tools so we could have a great show. And, you know, I have to give another thank you to all of our workshop leads and panelists. You know, huge thank you again to Sony Animation Panel. I have to give another thank you to Ren Hanami and Don Schmidt. Thank you very much again to our friend Molly Alice. And last but not least, thank you very much to Eric Edelstein and Daniel Chung for participating with us today. If you want to find out more about a place called home, please visit our website of no one says www anymore, but apch.org. Follow us on Instagram at APCH2830. And we are also on Facebook at the same tag right there. Follow us all on all of our platforms. We're going to continue to give you guys virtual programming while we are still in lockdown. And if you have any questions or you want to know more about a place called home, visit us at apch.org. Bye, everyone. Thank you. I'm so glad you had fun. A Place Called Home misses you. We hope to have Kale in person next year. I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.